live on the podcast on YouTube and also on Facebook. Mario, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing so very well this morning. Thank you for having me, Gilbert.
Yeah, and you sent me a text. The neat thing, I guess the last time you were here, we were not podcasting, but you see Kenny's on camera over there.
I seen that. Yeah,
we're trying to just make it so that we have multiple platforms.
That's right.
For people to hear what the heck is going on.
I like it.
So what the heck is going on with you? You are running for county commissioner.
It's the only way that I get an invite to this radio station, and so that's mostly the motivation. No, I'm kidding, Gilbert. But I always appreciate you giving a platform for these issues because spotlighting so many things going on in Fayetteville, so many things going on in Cumberland County. It was a big motivator for getting back into the hot seat, putting myself back on the ballot. You all know that I'm an attorney by day, and so I see issues every single time I walk into Cumberland County Courthouse, if I can even find any parking to get into the building. And that's true for a lot of my clients. I think that's true for a lot of the community members who want to see projects that have stalled finally come to fruition. And they want to see a lot of services that the county is in charge of actually serve the community to their fullest capacity.
Now, a lot of people, if you don't know, Mario was on the Fayetteville City Council and been to bid for mayor.
That's right.
Didn't make that. And so you, in essence, lost your seat on the city council. I guess once you throw your hat in the ring for mayor, if you don't win, then you move on to the next thing. So now your hat is in the ring to become a county commissioner. Is this at a large seat?
That's exactly right. And after 2 terms on city council, serving the wonderful District 3, had recently gotten married. I knew I was going to be moving out of the district, and so we wanted to run at large. And of course, there's one at-large seat on city council, the mayor's seat. So we swung for the fences. At the time, Mayor Mitch Colvin, made a big announcement that no one twisted his arm to make, that he was not seeking re-election. And so we saw an opportunity there to be of greater service. And of course, when he decided last minute to come back on in, it sort of changed the dynamics of the race. And so we know that there's another opportunity right around the corner. You had to file by the first week of December. We felt like we had a lot of momentum over the past 5 months. We knocked thousands of doors. And so it just made sense that a lot of the issues that I worked on over the past 4 years as a city councilman fit kind of perfectly with kinds of services that the county commissioners work on.
Let's turn my mic back on. Let's talk about that a little bit because how long were you on council?
4 years.
4 years service there. And is that 2 terms?
That's right.
Did 2 terms there. And so now the county commissioner, are they also 2 terms or 4 year?
So those are 4-year terms. So it's a little bit different in that sense. Just being a city councilman, doing our best to work with the county, I always noticed that there was a bit of a power dynamic difference, not just in the fact that they have double the budget of the city, but also in the way that they stagger their terms, in the way that they have 4-year terms. It really changes the conversations that you try to have with the city and the county when, in a lot of ways, government takes a long time to get around to completing issues. They can sort of wait you out if they don't feel like they want to work with you. So those are certain dynamics that I feel comfortable having had some time as a city councilman that going into the county commissioner's seat, a lot of folks talk about, I want to work with the city. I want to be able to collaborate more with that different governing body. I feel like I've got the experience to know how to do that in a way that really gets the best out of both worlds because it is 2 very different boards in the way that they operate. And just by the way, virtue of the fact that the terms are very different.
Yeah, and everybody on the county commission board brings a certain amount of expertise from their personal lives to the board. And it's through those eyes, I guess, they see the different challenges. And I guess you would look at it from a legal perspective.
100%. A lot of newer attorneys, they do their time on the court-appointed list. And that's where folks that are typically indigent, that would go to the public defender's office. We've got, as a Tier 1 county, that Cumberland County is, a lot of those community members, when public defender's office is inundated, will go out to private attorneys who are on this court-appointed list. So I've had the privilege to work in Department of Social Services court. I've had the privilege of working in juvenile court. And through those experiences, I've had to interact a lot with county services. And we've got some incredible members of the community that work for these county departments. They are making magic out of very, very few resources with a whole lot of community members that they're supposed to be serving. And if they just had a little bit more support, a little bit more targeted support, I know that they could be doing so much more for these families that are truly struggling here in our community to get out of these cycles of poverty, these cycles of violence, these cycles of being sort of underwater when it comes to taking care of their families. So until we sort of address these issues upstream, the community at large is going to be dealing with it downstream, and it's so much more expensive to be dealing with it sort of through the criminal justice system than it is through more proactive measures.
You know, when we talked initially when you were running for mayor, one thing you talked about is the school system, and I pointed out, you know, the city council doesn't have anything to do with the Board of Education. But you are the person, the county is the purse strings for the Cumberland County school system. So you would have a little bit more direct impact on the schools. And fortunately for us, this time around, the current board not only provided the resources in terms of dollars and cents for the Board of Education, but even a little bit more. Your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. So I think that was the right move. There are so many times as a city councilman, even as a private citizen, you know, longer than 4 years ago, I saw the Cumberland County Schools budget not be fully funded. But I would say that I still see some room for improvement there because oftentimes I believe that the school board is maybe not always comfortable asking for as much as they could because they don't have the board members necessarily on the county commission that'll give them the green light. So I always point back to conversations I've had with administrators who talk about ARPA money that came right after COVID, and they were able to hire school social workers. And when that money ran out, they couldn't afford to keep those social workers in the schools. And those were things that they loved having. So why didn't you ask on your next budget to be able to staff that? Well, you know, the long and short of it is that they didn't feel like they would get the green light. So I want to be a county commissioner that showcases up front that all the kinds of resources and staff members that you need to make the school successful, do not be afraid to ask. You have a listening ear and you have somebody who wants to support the staff in ways that they've never been supported before. As an E.E. Smith alumnus, we've been promised for years, going on decades, that a new building would be provided to us. And now we're still hearing these reports that they're trying to find different ways to shortchange the Golden Bulls. The latest rumor is that they're going to kill off Reed Ross Classical School. They're going to put all of the Golden Bulls into that building, and they're going to do some patchwork to 1800 Seabrook. And that's just not sufficient. That is not what we've been promised. That's not what's been budgeted for. And so, you know, everyone can rest assured that if I'm on that county commissioner board, that I will 100% make sure that by our 100th year anniversary, which is right around the corner in 2027, Gilbert, that we'll have broken ground on a new building for E. Smith High School.
Well, it's been a big topic of discussion for many years, as you know, and you know my children went there as well. I think they went there while you were there.
That's right.
So in any event, a lot of eyes on that project as well. We're good. If you're just joining me, I've got Mario Benavente here, who's a former Fayetteville City Council member who has thrown his hat into the ring to run for District 1 Cumberland County Commission.
At large.
No, at large. I'm sorry, at large. And there's a pretty good group of folks there, half dozen folks who are running in that. We'll talk about that in a few seconds. We're going to hold you over here for a second. But right now, we got Fayetteville's most dependable forecast with CBS meteorologist Rachel Dunsand.
Today will be another mainly sunny but cool day with a high of 45 degrees. Overnight will be clear and cold with a low of 21, and Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 51. After a chilly few days, Thursday and Friday are trending warmer, but that is ahead of an active end to the week and start to the weekend. It is possible we have wintry precipitation this weekend. We'll, of course, keep you updated on this developing forecast. That is your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsing.
If I learn how to work the controls, Rachel, I've got 28 degrees still in Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, and also Spring Lake. You're listening to News Talk 640 with WFNC.
Always first in News Talk for North Carolina. News Talk 640 WFNC. Stream online at WFNC640am.com. Never a password, never a fee.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 55 and with one of the big three carriers, like Verizon, you may notice they don't talk much about their 55-plus discounts. That's so customers like you keep paying their regular higher rates to boost their bottom line. You deserve better service, with 100% US-based experts, better value, with plans starting at $20, and a company that's built for people 50-plus, like me. Not convinced? Give your current carrier a call, ask about the 55-plus plan you've earned, see how long it takes to get a real person on the line, and if they try to talk you out of it. But if you want something better, call Consumer Cellular. We've got the same great coverage, and our US-based experts can get you switched in about 20 minutes. Switch now to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com for your second month free.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 55 and with one of the big three carriers, like Verizon, you may notice they don't talk much about their 55 plus discounts. That's so customers like you keep paying their regular higher rates to boost their bottom line. You deserve better service, with 100% US-based experts, better value, with plans starting at $20, and a company that's built for people 50 plus, like me. Not convinced? Give your current carrier a call, ask about the 55 plus plan you've earned, see how long it takes to get a real person on the line, and if they try to talk you out of it. But if you want something better, call Consumer Cellular. We've got the same great coverage, and our US-based experts can get you switched in about 20 minutes. Switch now to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com for your second month free.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Good morning, Fayetteville with Gilbert Bays. On WFNC, News Talk 640 AM and now at 103.5 HD2. Your information crossroads, WFNC.
News Talk 640 WFNC. You know, I was just talking with Mario Benavente, who is a candidate for county commissioner at large.
Right.
And I threw a cough drop in because I told you, hey, I'm battling some double pneumonia here. But I wanted to make sure I was here because I invited you over the weekend. We were going back and forth. What time? This day, that day, and everything. And I didn't want to stay home and not have this interview with you. I'm not contagious. You're okay.
Yes, sir.
We were just looking at the field. There's half a dozen people that you're running against, including a couple of incumbents as well. You're no stranger to the political scene in terms of your campaign for city council and then your campaign for mayor. What's different about this as a county race for you?
You know, we learned a lot from this mayor's race on, breaking out of just our city council district and moving out to citywide and certainly countywide, is a much bigger platform. But, I'm grateful to have, even before being on city council, had great relationships with Mayor Kia Anthony of Spring Lake, Dr. Kenwana McRae, who was just recently leaving the Hope Mills board as their vice chair. And so I've had these conversations with really, really great leaders across this community before any of us were in elected office. And so there's just this sense of, taking the next step, that we've been of service to this community in the best ways we can the past 4 years, and really going to the county commissioners a kind of purview that they have over DSS, Health and Human Services, that, my goodness, working as a city councilman, animal control was always a big topic in my community, and where there's some work that needs to be done there as well. So it's really a really natural, I think, next step for us.
When you look at you named a lot of different parts of the county, and that's different than dealing with the city.
That's right.
The city. This
different needs.
Yeah, but it's still the desire to serve, and it
100%.
seems like as long as I've known you, Mario, you've always expressed that, even as a community activist.
That's right.
Before you made it on city council, and I was covering the news. You have always been a voice for the people, it seems.
I really appreciate that, Gilbert. And it does come with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, I felt like. You can have a lot of concerns and maybe even criticisms of the way the system works. But what are you doing for your community? And that's always been something I felt like I need to prove that I can do more than just point out, what may be going on. And I'm willing to put some skin in the game, the time, the sweat equity. And certainly it's not just me. I can't tell you how many community members have volunteered for for us. This would not be a financially feasible operation if it weren't for so many incredible people, Bobby DeLon, George Sawyer, Zach Traylor. There's so many amazing people I could be naming that have really put in so much time to make this a viable candidacy. And so we're knocking doors to this day, making sure that folks in Spring Lake, Hope Mills, Wade, Godwin, Falcon, all the many municipalities, Eastover, are hearing from us so that they know that you've got a candidate who's ready to work hard for you.
Yeah, and you make a good point. Again, this is not a city council race for
Right.
a specific district. This is countywide, and you've just about doubled the amount of population that you've got to get your message to.
That's right.
There are folks who know you from the city and know your activism in the city on behalf of the citizens there. What's your message to those folks who don't know you out in the county?
The biggest message is we get the job done. When I first got on city council, I can't tell you how many long-serving council members told me, well, Mario, don't expect to get much done in the first 2 years. Maybe if you come back the third term, you can start to maybe put some things on the agenda. And I knew they were coming from a good place, right? I didn't think that they were being discouraging. They were sort of being very matter-of-fact about it because that was their experience on city council for as much time as they were. And that was one piece of advice that I understood but wanted to break through. And the Office of Community Safety is very much something that we got started, got pushback against, but it was something that I worked with other city council members. We traveled outside of Fayetteville to other communities to see how well it worked, gave my colleagues reasons to be interested in it for their own personal reasons. We came back and we got it done. We've got now a 5-person department. We've changed the face of that sort of tree map that is the city government, and there's a new block on that, and I'm really proud to say that that was something that we got done. And I think a lot of folks who watch county government, who watch city government, they want to start to see the fruits of their labor. They want to see a return on their investment from all the taxes that we're paying nowadays, and those are the kinds of results-driven government that I have proven to be capable of doing, and I can't wait to do it as a county commissioner.
One thing that happens when you have some possible new faces.
Yes.
The fact that an event center, for example, downtown,
My
that
goodness.
was, we thought was going to
That's
happen,
right.
changed because the face of the governing board changed.
Right.
And there was a different look on it. Your take on how that played out, because it really wasn't a city matter, it was a county commissioner matter.
That's right. At the time, I really wanted the city to get involved because I can imagine when there are budget constraints and there are walls that you start hitting, because there are always walls with big construction projects. What could the city have done to chip in? When CFRT, Cape Fear Regional Theater, started building and fundraising privately, they then came to the city and the county said, hey, we're already on the 10-yard line. Can you get us there to the last little bit? Look how far we've come. It made all the sense in the world to help them out with what it was a sizable multi-million-dollar investment. But if you're going to put in $100 million, I'll give you $5 because I'm going to get a lot back in return. And that's kind of how I felt about what should have been, I think, a huge investment for our downtown, a time when I can remember my dad and other folks talking about how, man, why did we put the jail downtown and the Crown way out in the middle of nowhere? That always should have been the other way around. And I thought finally we were getting back to maybe addressing that. I know so many downtown merchants who were, and there's no reason at the time not to, been sort of cashing checks based on that promise that there was going to be this huge $100 million investment downtown to bring folks, bring a hotel. I mean, there was all this real excitement around it. And for that to kind of stop sort of on a dime, I know it was disappointing for a lot of folks. And my goodness, it kind of took us a few steps back when you look at the Cumberland County Courthouse now without a free parking, without a decent place to park, and folks are getting towed out of that lot now, just trying to get to deal with their legal matters without getting in more trouble. So it's definitely been quite a tailspin that we've gone into, and I'm looking forward to being on the county commissioners board to get us back on track.
Let's take you out of the city for a second, because
Sure.
one of the big issues for residents in the county is the Cape Fear River.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Fuquay-Varina, for example, wants to take out 8 million gallons of water and dump it into the Neuse River Basin and not put it back in the Cape Fear. And then you have the Forever Chemicals and the issues that folks are dealing with downstream. Your take on that?
Those are issues that I'm really excited to see the community learn the sort of way to talk about them, because there's so many issues that we know are wrong. But then when you kind of educate the community to the point that they can articulate and convince their neighbors that this is not something to sleep on, that millions and millions of gallons of water per day will absolutely have an impact on these long-standing issues with Chemours that are then going to be potentially highlighted because of the way volume and matter works. These are all issues that I'm really excited to see the community kind of educate themselves on. And that's something that I did as a community member, as a community organizer. It's how do you take these issues that maybe a very few experts can recognize and understand, communicate them so effectively that you've got folks confident to go out to these different spaces, these public forums, and to share their perspective. I'm also thinking about a lot of the infrastructure needs. I mean, talking with folks in Spring Lake, I mean, they really do have an aging infrastructure to get the water that we do have to their residents. We've got folks, outside the city limits that still are needing to get hooked up to PWC. How can we help negotiate those matters so that folks can get access to real basic necessities that for decades they've been missing out on? So I think that's really the key factor, is that a county commissioner, there's always staff that are running the day-to-day, but what are you doing to be the X factor to help get the community organized and involved?
The other thing here, if you are elected as a county commissioner, you will be on both sides of the 911 center.
Indeed.
And that has been ongoing. I know
100%.
I've been dealing with that in terms of doing stories on
Sure.
it. Since it relocated over to Executive Place,
right?
And there was an opportunity for the city and county to get together. And now I've talked with Doug Hewitt. I've talked with the mayor about it. It's not big enough. We're going to make our own thing. And my big complaint was we're going to spend whatever amount of dollars we were going to spend to get an architect to come in and design a place we may not use. And I was trying to take people to task on that. But
and you should.
There's a need, but there's a need for a bigger place, and talk about that. And so what's your take on it now as a county commissioner as opposed to a city councilman?
Right. No, that topic could take a whole show, and it's an important conversation because of how many tens of millions of dollars we're talking about just for an edifice, just for a building. And then, of course, what does it really mean? What is sort of going to be the return on investment to the community for consolidating or combining these services? And what is it not going to mean? Because I think a lot of folks, especially if you receive that survey that the county's putting out, are maybe misunderstanding what you're getting out of this. Just because they're co-located together doesn't mean FPD, Fayetteville Police Department, is going to be going out into the county necessarily. There's a lot of misunderstanding, I think, about what this, the extent of this is. But it always comes down to, are we truly effectively using our taxpayers' monies? And the city government had already taken out these huge bonds to be able to build a new 911 call center. They already had issues with, just being on the third floor of City Hall, a place that, when it has had adverse weather in the past, our 911 personnel have not been able to get to their call centers in the past, that we need to have some other co-location that is available to them because we're growing. And there's potential that we might provide that service to, as a city, to other municipalities. But that doesn't exactly fit with the concept that really the county is supposed to be the big one overseeing all of the above. And so as long as the county, I think, is recognizing that it always comes down to what service is being provided best to the community, that is the sort of guiding polar star, we're going to be all right at the end of the day. But I think the worst thing we can do, and I've seen this a lot with politicians generally, not just locally, but outside of this in the 4 years that I've been involved, making it seem like you're doing something so that you can put your name on it. Kind of doing these stopping something just to get it started again, remixing it just slightly so that it's no longer the product of a previous board, but it's just you who now, basically saved the day. And I think if that's the guiding reason for making this happen immediately, then that's a mistake.
Right,
I'll slow down there.
Well, if you're joining me now, I've got Mario Benavente, and Kenny, I brought you up on screen also as well. We were supposed to have Lindsay Whitley coming in. I don't see him. Do you see him out there?
I will go take a look at the parking lot in just a moment.
If we don't see him, we're going to hold you over if that's okay.
100%.
Yeah, and so we're going to take a break right now, and let's have some local news right now with CBS 17.
Good morning from the CBS 17 newsroom. I'm Bill Young. Happening today, there is a feedback session in Fayetteville for people to share their priorities about public safety. It's the first of two sessions from the new Office of Community Safety. Today's session is at 9 at the Kiwanis Rec Center. You must sign up in advance. We have a link to do so at cbs17.com. 2 women are charged in a deadly car crash in Harnett County. It happened Saturday around noon at the intersection of McCartan Road and Elliott Bridge Road. According to investigators, Goldie Marsh was impaired when she crashed into a culvert. Her passenger, Timothy McLean, died in the wreck. Goldie reportedly called Sharon Marsh, who then came to pick her up, leaving behind the car and McLean. Happening today, a very full agenda for Governor Stein. He is headed to Western North Carolina, where he'll talk about ongoing rebuilding efforts after Hurricane Helene. He'll also go to rural Clay County, right near Tennessee, to learn how the opioid settlement funds are helping addicts and prevent deadly overdoses. And then it's on to Cherokee, where he'll talk about initiatives to recruit and retain law enforcement officers. A Fayetteville native making waves behind the scenes in a film called King Boulevard. Prince produced all of the music in the Amazon Prime and Tubi movie. The film follows a young man who attempts to transform his community into a place that truly honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision. This isn't Purposed first time, though, on the streaming screen. He's made other projects, too, featured on places like Hulu. From the CBS 17 Newsroom, I'm Bill Young.
Today will be another mainly sunny but cool day with a high of 45 degrees. Overnight will be clear and cold with a low of 21, and Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 51. After a chilly few days, Thursday and Friday are trending warmer, but that is ahead of an active end to the week and start to the weekend. It is possible we have wintry precipitation this weekend. We'll, of course, keep you updated on this developing forecast. That is your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunzing.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much. Right now, 28 degrees. That's the number that we have across the board in Fayetteville, Hope Mills, and also at Fort Bragg. You're listening to News Talk 640 with WFNC.
This report is sponsored by Staples. It's a new year, and Staples has fresh deals to get you fully equipped for 2026, like up to $120 off HP Smart Tank printers. This deal means business, and so do these printers. Shop in-store and online today. Staples, that was easy. Ends January 31st.
Bringing you all the news and information that matters for 4 decades. News Talk 640 WFNC. Stream online at WFNC640am.com. Never a password, never a fee.
My name is Ron Ross. I need your vote for County Commissioner. With over 50 years of service with the Boys and Girls Club, I will champion programs that support youth, strengthen families, and safe neighborhoods for all. I will support policies that encourage economic development and create good jobs, always putting people first. Vote Ron Ross for County Commissioner. Go to my website, ronrosscc.com. This ad was paid for by the committee who elect Ron Ross.
It's getting chilly in the Carolinas. If your heat isn't cutting it, don't wait. Call Bass Air Conditioning and Heating now. For a limited time, get a system check for just $59 or